Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. I'm actually today here in Manila at Rizal Park, and no, I didn't quit YouTube, and no, I am not dead. I've gotten so many comments and stuff asking me that because I hadn't published very much content in December and then basically no content in January. So I'll walk through the park, show you it while I talk about what's been going on and what's going to be going on for 2024 for the channel. Join me. Now, normally, most of the time, I actually live in Davao in the southern portion of the Philippines on the island of Mindanao. And I'll tell you, it's about 9:30 in the morning here, and it's about 10 degrees cooler here in this park in Manila than it is back home in Davao where I normally live. It's really noticeably different. And they had some rain last night, but I don't think that's it. I think this portion is normally just a little bit cooler than what it is in Manila. All right, so I want to talk about where I've been because I know a lot of people have been curious and what's going to be coming up for 2024. I'll turn this camera around so you can see this amazing park as we kind of talk while we walk. So really, the reason I didn't put out much content, guys, or really any in January, is not because I was quitting YouTube like a lot of people have been, but because it's actually my busiest time of the year. I did the exact same thing last year, barely put any content out in December and very little in January. It's because I just haven't had the time. See, I'm not retired. I'm not independently wealthy. So basically what happens is during the year, I work as an attorney in the United States. And for whatever reason, not necessarily for the work that I do, but for the actual new clients signing up for different services that I provide, for some reason, everybody decides basically in December and then in January is when I get the new clients. And so what I end up doing is I onboard those clients during that period of time. And I've talked about a little bit on my channel before the types of different law that I practice, but a lot of it, well, not a lot of it, actually only about 15–20% of what I do is family-based immigration into the United States. And a lot of people decide to bring their spouses or their fiancés in during that period of time. I don't know, it's if they got the money together or they finally made the decision to. But in the month of December, the amount of people that I end up dealing with in that area, as far as new clients go, it almost quadruples. And then I also do, as part of my law practice, is I do what's called, well, basically it's called global mobility and asset protection. So I help people take their money or their residencies and stuff from the United States and go overseas. Sometimes that's setting up second residencies. Sometimes it's setting up companies overseas. Sometimes it's setting up, which is where I started, was actually in trust accounts going overseas. And a lot of people, as part of their New Year's resolutions and stuff, decide that they finally want to do asset protection to prevent themselves from being subject to losing everything in lawsuits and stuff. And it just seems to be the time of year that I onboard a lot of clients. Now, again, that work's spread out for the entire year, but for whatever reason, at the end of the year is when I end up doing a lot of onboarding of clients. And since YouTube is basically a hobby of mine, I have to make sure that I can still afford to eat and travel and everything else. So I have to onboard those clients for the rest of the year. So one of the other things that I did this time, which I didn't do last year, is as a part of my YouTube channel, once people found out I was a lawyer and an immigration lawyer, I started getting all kinds of requests for meetings and consultations and to hire me and stuff. And it was really never the point of my channel to begin with, but I did go ahead and I put up a sign-up sheet on my website, drlawai.com, to where people could book appointments. And I limit that to like 10 appointments a month because I have to run the rest of my practice in the meantime, and I can't onboard that many clients from that particular practice area. And I completely shut that down back during January because I just did not have time to do consultations other than for people who are actually hiring me to do the work as well. So I had shut that down. I've restarted those consultations. Again, it's only 10 a month, and it's a first come, first served basis. It's an automatic sign up. If you're interested in that, you can go. I just reopened it. So there's 10 slots for the rest of the month, and there's 10 slots for March. Once they're gone, you know, it's not going to be open again until April, May, whatever, because I do it at a much reduced rate from what my normally hourly fee is. But so many people were contacting me, I kind of felt guilty about it, so I put that out there. If you want to, you can certainly go to the description below, and if they're still available, you can try to book one. By the way, about this park, and you can't see it because the fountains, they're cleaning them right now. But at night, like last night, I didn't bring my camera with me because it was didn't want to have to fool with it. But all of this lights up. The fountains come on, and it's kind of dancing fountains, and it's got lights and stuff, and there's kind of a light show, and there's music. People kind of camp out here on the sidewalk and look around at it. And it's actually really, really nice. It's really, really beautiful. I'm gonna move up here away from this music, and we'll continue with the park. So one other project that I've been working on the last couple of months is having to do with what I do for a living, which is an attorney. And when I first started doing YouTube, I really didn't mention what I did for a living. But at one point I did, and people found out I was a U.S. attorney. I only mentioned it because it's basically, I would getting questions. How do you pay to live overseas? How can you afford to do all these travels? And so I put it out there as an explanation. I'm not sure how helpful that was on how I pay for it. But something really interesting happened, and I started getting all kinds of emails and stuff from attorneys in the United States. You know, how am I doing this? And at first I would email them back, and then people wanted to have consultations with me, and I got contacted by almost 200 attorneys, basically trying to figure out how I was able to do this remote lifestyle using my US law degree. And although doing consultations and charging for it, I guess might have been a nice way to make a little extra money, every time I would do that, I was taking away from my business, and that's not sustainable. So I need to always concentrate on what my core business is and not be doing things that's going to be taking away from that, takes away from my hobby of the channel. And so, you know, I kind of struggled with that on how can I help these people, but I don't have the time to spend hours and hours and hours to help them. And I was talking to a guy about it. He's like, well, why don't you just do a course? Why don't you create a course on everything everybody needs to know about how to do this as a living if they got a law degree from the United States? So I've been plotting that out, and I've been working on doing that. I am going to launch that. Right now I've got the course outlined and all. It's a much bigger commitment, although I was told it was going to be a bigger commitment than it was. And once I get that done, I'll put the details here. If you come back to this video in the future, there'll be a link down below to show you what it is. But there's just no way that I can respond to every single attorney that contacts me, let alone have a one-on-one conversation or meet them for lunch or anything else. I mean, you think 200 people a year. So I'm just going to do it one time in a full shoot course. And then if people want it, they can get that, because it makes very little never mind to 99.9% of my audience. But I am going to do that. It's a way of paying it forward for other people who are in my position that really want to do this. That's enough on that. So that was basically the reason that I haven't been on YouTube recently. So I wanted to talk to you also a little bit, you know, what's in the future for this channel as far as 2024. And this year I'm determined, because I don't put out a lot of content there. Again, this isn't a job for me or anything. It's just fun. But the most that I put out content-wise, even in one given month, last year was like, I think I had one month that I got pretty active and I did like 7 videos in a month, which was a lot for me. It's not like a lot of YouTubers, even here in the Philippines, that they constantly put out so much content, so much great content, informational content and showing different places. That's just not something I can do. But this year, I am determined that I'm going to set a goal, and I am going to put out at least 100 pieces of content this year, between now and the end of the year. So I will be putting those out. I've kind of got all the topics and stuff for about half of them that I want to put out there, and some places that I want to show you, not just here in the Philippines, but around the world. And that also brings me back to the travels and stuff. So right now, I normally live in Davao, but I'm here in Manila, again at Rizal Park. And I love this park, by the way. It is just amazing. But I'll be leaving from Manila. I've got some business here at the embassy tomorrow that I'll be dealing with. But then I'm going to be heading over to Hong Kong for a little bit. I've never actually been to Hong Kong, so this will be my first trip to Hong Kong. And from there, since I'm already out of the Philippines, I'm going to head on back to the United States for a little bit. I've actually got a trial that's coming up, a jury trial that's coming up the 1st of March here in 2024 that I got to get resolved. And hopefully that will be the last jury trial that I do as a practicing attorney. It's not that I don't like them, but getting ready for them and going back to the United States is kind of a pain. And I'll spend some time in the United States, kind of show you around the area that I hail from there. And what I'm really looking forward to is, although I love the Philippines and I love the cuisine and stuff, there are things that I crave when I'm away. And so I'm from the South, and a lot of people will be horrified by this. I guess they think it's unhealthy or something, but I really enjoy the type of barbecue that we have in the South. So I'm looking forward to getting some really good pulled pork barbecue when I get back. I miss salad bars. You don't see that much in Southeast Asia. I've seen them a few times at some hotels here. They're never all that good, but the lettuce quality is also much better back home than it is from here, at least the type of lettuce that I eat. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to grabbing some other foods that I don't normally get. And I'll be in there right set in the middle of winter here in February. So I had to pack winter clothes, at least a few sets, to get me through until I got there, which makes my luggage much heavier. But it'll be the first time that I've experienced really cold weather now in almost 3 years of travel, which is kind of crazy. I followed the sun and only went to places that had summer for the last 3 years. So those are some of the things I plan on doing this year in 2024. I'm also going to be going back to Europe, hopefully going to be going to Geneva at some point this summer. And then I want to get back to the Balkans, particularly to Serbia and Albania. And I'd like to get over to Bulgaria and spend a few weeks there. So those are the only things I got concrete for 2024. Those are my plans. Those are my goals. If there's anything that you would like to see in any of those places that I'm going, or content you would like to see about the Philippines or in the Philippines, there's a lot of places I still need to travel. Just let me know, and if I'm able to, maybe I'll make some content on that. Here is Rojas Boulevard. If you were ever wondering what it looked like here in the Philippines, traffic's actually not too bad. It's kind of early. Hope that you enjoyed this little update. If you've been hanging around for a while, if you're new here, you probably didn't care and you've already tuned out, but if you've hanged in, thanks for the visit. If you'd like to see more content from this channel and you're not already, subscribe to it. Hit the like button so that other people will know it's out there. YouTube loves to suppress people and their content for some reason on their platform. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the funny pages.